Tonight, we take pleasure in bringing you Suspense, a weekly anthology of notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to keep you in suspense.
It was shaping up to be a night like any other, in this city that never sleeps. I'd just arrived from my shift at the Midnight Club, and was getting changed when my only friend, Julie Marsden, walked in.
Why, hello there, kitten.
Hello there, Songbird. Hey, I thought you gave those up.
Oh, I did. But I guess sometimes you really can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Julie, you are anything but a dog.
Oh, you know what I mean.
I do. Speaking of tricks, how's the house?
Ooh, a real bunch of live wires tonight. Dentist convention in town.
Oh boy.
But something tells me it's not your teeth they'll be giving their undivided attention when you're on stage.
Never is, Julie.
Hey, it's just par for the course. This'll cheer you up, though. There's a stack of fan mail for you.
Let me guess. More marriage proposals?
A few. Ooh, this one's an Emir from Spain.
Spain? Julie, I think it's been about 500 years since there was an Emir there.
Well, he's the Emir of someplace.
They're a dime a dozen.
Literally, he's the 12th Emir you've heard from in the past 3 months. You also got a telegram. Request for you to do a private performance tomorrow night?
Pass.
It's good money. And what's Julie's first rule?
Having money is nice, I know. But I make great money here. I mean, I'm the headliner at New York's most famous nightclub.
Yeah, but you're not getting any younger, kid, and take it from someone who wishes she'd done things differently. When you get a chance to sock away a little extra moolah, you take it.
Julie, I hate private parties. At least here at the club, we've got some muscle around to handle the real creeps. At private functions, the line between ogler and fondler, it can disappear in a snap. And it's especially awkward when it's the host.
I really don't think that will be a problem at this one, kitty cat. It's a diplomatic function being hosted by Alexander Mazzaros.
Alexander Mazzaros? The multi-millionaire industrialist?
Yes. He and his wife are hosting a group of politicos from the U.S. and Hungary as part of an exhibition in his penthouse gallery.
Oh, but Julie, tomorrow night's my first night off in 2 weeks, and Mittens and I have a hot date with a cold saucer of milk.
That tomcat of yours can wait. Don't you want to do your part and take some of the chill off the Cold War?
I'll start writing my Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech now. I, Kitty Devine, stripper extraordinaire, the toast of the Big Apple, am honored to accept this year's award.
Hardy har har. Make with the yucks all you want, but this exhibition is big stuff. These twin emeralds haven't been in the same place in over a century.
Twin emeralds?
Yes, the Hunyadi twins, a matched set of emeralds that were once among the crown jewels of Hungary. It seems that the Mazzaros family ended up with one of them when they emigrated to the U.S. in the mid-1800s. The Hungarian government is negotiating for its return after the exhibition, and that would be a big step forward in U.S.-Hungarian relations.
Well, let it not be said that Kitty Devine isn't willing to use her feminine charms to help bring down the Iron Curtain.
Atta girl, Kitty. And speaking of bringing down the curtain, sounds like they're playing your song.
Oof. From the sound of that crowd, Berlioz's march to the scaffold would be more appropriate.
Shoo! I'll call and get the details for tomorrow night.
I'd like to say that it was a sense of patriotism or a desire for world peace that made me accept. But this is a kitty with multiple lives, and those priceless emeralds piqued the curiosity of one in particular, one who loves anything that sparkles. And so it was that late the next afternoon, I found myself on an elevator headed to the penthouse of the majestic Coburg Heights.
Mr. Mazzaros will be waiting for you, Miss Devine.
Thank you.
Here she is, Mr. Mazzaros.
You may go now, Edgars.
Yes, sir.
Kitty. Kitty Devine.
You certainly are.
Mr. Mazzaros, you're much younger than I was anticipating.
Oh, you're thinking of my father. I'm Stephen, the king in waiting.
Oh, king in waiting.
I was named for King Stephen the first monarch of Hungary.
Wasn't he a saint?
Yes, but in that respect, we most definitely differ. Still, when my father kicks the bucket, so to speak, I'll take the throne of the Mazzaros Empire. Factories in 10 countries, oil concerns, a shipping line.
Whew, most impressive. Is your father in poor health?
No, but he's bound to die sooner or later. And then I'll be in the market for a queen.
Well, I'm sure there will be no shortage of prospects.
Actually, I already have one in mind.
What a fortunate woman she must be.
I'm glad you feel that way. Would you do me the honor of attending tonight's pre-opening reception as my special guest?
Oh, well, how could I say no to an offer like that?
You can't. It's in your contract. Oh. Then it's settled. I'll come for you after your performance. You'll have a room 4 floors down, in the guest wings.
Oh, really? How many floors does your father own?
The top 5. Ballroom and exhibition hall here on the penthouse level. Our family quarters on the next 3 floors. Then the guest rooms.
So this is where the exhibit is. I'd love to see it. If you can spare the time.
For you, my dear, I have nothing but time. But first, how about a drink?
Oh, thank you. But it's a bit early for me.
Early? It's 3 in the afternoon.
Yes, but I'm normally not out of bed before 4.
I can only imagine. Well, I'll have a drink for each of us. And then I'll show you the Hunyadi Smerjoldek.
The what?
The Hunyadi twins, matched emeralds so perfectly cut that even a master jeweler would be hard-pressed to tell them apart.
Oh, well, they must be priceless.
Indeed they are. In fact, I've personally taken out a sizable insurance policy on them. Not that any burglar would have the slightest chance of stealing them, of course.
Not even the notorious jewel thief Lashat?
Not even that notorious jewel thief Lashat. We have a state-of-the-art security system for the gallery.
State-of-the-art? Whatever do you mean?
Well, first of all, there's the location. At the top of a 50-story building, access only via 2 guarded elevators and an alarmed emergency stairway. Chrome steel entry doors, opened only by a passcode. And surrounding the display case, an invisible beam alarm system, deactivated by a separate passcode, known only to my father.
It all sounds most elaborate and quite foolproof. What about the skylight? It's alarmed, of course.
Of course. Though who but a birdman could get in that way, I can't imagine.
A birdman or a skilled and determined burglar? I have expressed my concerns in that regard to your head of security, but he assures me that the Hunyadi Smerjoldek are as safe as they would be in your Fort Knox.
Miss Devine, may I introduce Gentautas Umaris, a member of the Soviet consul staff?
Mr. Umaris?
Miss Devine. Yet I find it hard to be assured of your security measures when it seems as if anyone can gain access to this exhibition. This young lady, for example.
This young lady is one of the most renowned entertainers in the world and is here now as my personal guest.
Really? And how long have you personally known her?
Why,
Exactly. She could be a master thief, and you would not have the slightest idea. No offense meant, Miss Devine.
None taken, Mr. Umaris.
This exhibition is of vital importance to East-West relations. For your sake, I hope it proceeds without incident. Good day.
In point of fact, it was impossible for me to take even the slightest offense at Umaris's comments. Still, I had to make it look good for Stephen Mazzaros. After playing the tearful, insulted damsel for an hour, I made good my escape and took a cat nap before my performance, for this was going to be a very long night.
Well, I must say, Miss Devine, you really are quite the singer.
Why, I do thank you.
Shall we join the party?
What, now? Oh, I should at least powder my nose.
Your nose looks perfect, along with everything else.
Doesn't it seem just a bit gauche to have me mingling in a dress that was half off 2 minutes ago?
I insist.
Suit yourself. Let me just finish getting ready. Oh, there. Now I'm ready.
Oh, goody. Right on cue.
What?
My parents. Mater! Pater!
Stephen.
You seem to be having a good time. Perhaps too much so.
Why, whatever do you mean?
You're drunk.
Which, unfortunately, seems to be your usual state.
Nonsense. Just doing my part to make this historic event a bit more lively.
Nonsense. It's an apt choice of words.
It isn't bad enough that you're the butt of every joke in the gossip columns, but you are not going to embarrass us this evening in front of dignitaries from 3 nations.
Drunk, boisterous, squiring Miss Devine around just moments after she finished her act.
Perhaps I should excuse myself.
No. You stay. Stephen, you go.
Oh, okay, I'll go. I'll go, all right. I'll go get myself another drink.
Mr. and Mrs. Mazzaros, my apologies if I've made a difficult situation even worse.
That's not necessary, Miss Devine.
Thank you, but I understand. I mean, having your son being seen with an entertainer at such an important diplomatic function must be a little impolitic.
You misunderstand. Our family isn't old money. We built our fortune on strength of back and force of will. Work is work, and I have no reason to look askance at anyone who earns an honest dollar.
But there are some who wouldn't know a thing about that. Our son, for instance. Unlike us, he was born into wealth. And though we've tried to impress upon him the value of good work ethic and a solid moral base, I'm afraid we've failed miserably.
Well, I don't know if it's quite as bad as all that.
He's a sodden wastrel.
And even though he's our sodden wastrel, there are limits. Stephen has left us no choice but to cut him off completely. Perhaps if he's left to his own devices, he'll find his way.
In any case, that's neither here nor there. It was good to meet you, Miss Devine. You really are quite the singer.
Thank you, Mr. Mazzaros. Mrs. Mazzaros. It was good to meet you as well.
Miss Devine.
Thank God. I was afraid the Spanish Inquisition was never going to disband. Hopefully Mr. and Mrs. Torquemada weren't too hard on you.
Actually, I found them to be courteous and quite sensible.
Oh, you poor misguided creature. I strongly suggest you have a drink. Ugh. Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Good evening, Miss Divine.
Mr. Umaris.
Comrade,
Mr. Mazzaros, the Lesser. I see you're giving the security of the Hunyadi Emeralds your usual single-minded attention. Miss Divine, I was most impressed with your performance. Your reputation precedes you even behind the Iron Curtain. Western decadence, to be sure, but inspired decadence nonetheless. And you really are quite the singer.
I get that a lot. My, what an interesting tie clasp. A rook, isn't it?
It is. I am a chess master in my native Lithuania.
being a communist flunky, wouldn't a pawn be more appropriate for you?
Actually, the rook is an excellent choice, Mr. Umaris. It's one of the major pieces in chess.
You are most astute, Miss Divine. Other than the queen, the rook is the most powerful piece on the board. I wear this to remind me of that which is most important in my life. For another man, this rook would be something else. In the case of Mr. Mazzaros the Lesser, for example, a martini glass would be most appropriate.
Don't be silly, comrade. I'd have martini glass cufflinks. I'm a two-fisted drinker, after all. I'm two-fisted in other things, too. If you catch my meaning.
Yes, well, it's been good talking with you, Mr. Umaris, but we really must be going.
Good evening, Miss Divine.
What was the big idea?
In case you've forgotten, this is a diplomatic function. I'm just trying to keep you from doing anything that would upset your parents.
I don't give a damn what they think. In just a few days, I'll be coming into a fortune of my own.
Shh. In that case, Mr. Mazzaros, you won't have any trouble paying my bill. Send the check, care of the Midnight Club.
But...
Good night. And that was the end of the evening for world-famous burlesque star Kitty Devine, but only the beginning of the night for world-famous cat burglar Lashat. The gallery was 4 floors straight up, nothing in the other direction but 500 feet of cool night air. No wind, minimal moonlight, excellent handholds and footholds in the seams of the limestone slabs, an easy climb. A careful examination of the skylight revealed it to have not one, but 2 magnetic alarms. Hallmaker 203s, a sturdy, weatherproof design. But child's play to bypass. Within moments, I had lowered myself to the floor at the rear of the gallery. All that was left was to locate and maneuver past the invisible beam alarms. And then I realized something. I wasn't alone in the gallery.
Damn it! This is the number I found written down in Father's private papers. Why won't it work?
Because your father has the passcode changed on a regular basis.
What are you doing here?
I might ask you the same question, but then I already know the answer.
Why, I wanted to test the security system for myself.
Please do not insult my intelligence. I'm well aware of your plan.
What are you talking about?
Without your parents' knowledge, you purchased an insurance policy on the Hunyadi twins, which you are now in the process of stealing between the insurance settlement and the black market sale of the emeralds. You anticipate making a minimum of 10 million American dollars.
That's ridiculous. I'm the heir to a fortune worth 20 times that.
Except that you are no longer heir to anything, as your parents have recently made certain changes to their wills. Changes you no doubt suspected, which led you to conceive this plan.
That still doesn't explain why you're here, Umaras.
For the same reason as you, though for a different motive.
You want to steal the jewels.
If both the Hunyadi twins are returned to the Hungarian people, it will create an era of conciliation between the United States and Hungary. An era that runs counter to the wishes of my superiors in the Kremlin.
Well, comrade, then we have a problem, because I'm not leaving here empty-handed.
You're not leaving here at all.
What?
You have set yourself up as the prime suspect. But in order for you to remain the prime suspect, you will need to disappear. Permanently.
Wait. No, there's no need for this. I can go away. I'll become a ghost.
You will indeed.
Get back. I'll set off the alarms. Then we'll both be caught. No. No.
My condolences, young Mazzaros. But in this game, it is you who were but a mere pawn. And pawns seldom survive for long. As soon as I have disposed of you, I will complete my work here.
A dead man on the floor, a pair of emeralds bearing the weight of East-West relations, and a Soviet spy determined to steal them. Whatever was a cat burglar to do? Whatever was a cat burglar to do? Indeed.
Wow. Kitty Cat, what the heck happened last night?
Whatever do you mean, Songbird?
Haven't you read the papers?
Never do.
Well, the Hunyadi twins were stolen from the exhibition last night.
No.
Yes. And the son of Alexander Mazzaros has gone missing.
You don't say. Is he a suspect in the thefts?
No. The police believe it was none other than Lashat. One of her trademark opera gloves was found at the scene of the crime.
Why, that fiend! Risking East-West relations for her own personal gain. So the emeralds are gone for good. Doubtless fenced by now to the sleaziest of sleazes.
No, that's just it. Lashat stole the Hunyadi twins and then returned them to their rightful owners. One was found in the office safe at the Hungarian consulate, and the other in the bedroom safe of Alexander Mazzaros.
Really? How odd. Well, let it never be said that Kitty Devine isn't willing to do her part in the pursuit of world peace.
And then Lashat stole the other contents of both safes, nearly $50,000 in cash plus jewelry, worth an additional $50,000.
The gall! Then again, never let it be said that Kitty Devine is a chump. After all, Julie's right. Money is nice.
So ends Red Rook, White King, Black Cat by John C. Alsedek and Dana Perry-Hayes. Tonight's story of Suspense. Suspense is produced by Blue Hours Productions. Tonight's radio drama was written especially for Suspense by John C. Alsedek and Dana Perry-Hayes and recorded at Melrose Music in Hollywood, California. Adrienne Wilkinson was Kitty Devine. David Collins was Stefan Mazzaros. Ron Bottitta was Gentautus Umaras. Talon Beeson was Alexander Mazzaros. Susan Eisenberg was Elena Mazzaros. And Dana Perry-Hayes was Julie Marsden. I'm Damon Krall. Next week at this time, Tune in again for another study in suspense.